Hey guys, my name is Marvin Ambrosius, and this is Big Sis.
Marsha Ambrosius.
And this is Ghosts of Our Past, and this is a very special episode. I've actually titled it already. Marsha doesn't know this. I've called it Spirits and Friends.
Wow, wow. Spirits and Friends is a bar.
It
And we
came,
all going.
it came to me in some random moment. I was like, Spirits and Friends. And I was like, but when you really peep it, it's quite creepy.
No, it is creepy, but it's really a pub. It's a pub. And it's going to be a chain of pubs around the city of London, on the streets of London.
Y'all want a drink? No one here.
Spirits and Friends. Shut up. Why are you like this?
I had to do it though,
I know.
But yeah, as you know, obviously, this episode is going to be, we're going to have a guest on here, which is Matthew Lawrence. I called him my cousin. He's actually, we're not related in any blood at all, but he's more of a relative than most people I'll ever know in my life, because he's the longest friend I've ever had, whereas I don't remember a life without him in it. So as far as I'm concerned, he's my brother. So
yeah, you were 2 and 3 years old when you met. So that is your entire life. This is someone we've known our entire life that lived a street away from this haunted location and would share, stories of their own that kind of corroborated with what we've been speaking about. So I actually can't wait to hear what Matt has to say. I know that you guys had a conversation prior to this.
Oh yeah, so we did.
I'm intrigued.
But here's the thing though. In the conversation, we realized when I spoke to Matt when we first started this podcast is the fact that he'd suppressed most things because he said, and this is what he said when we spoke, things are supposed to be left in the past. So he's too well and known this for the whole time.
Wow.
He just chose to just say that's over there. Remember we spoke about that in previous episodes about things that you have and it's baggage, but you can keep it. But he was like, no, I put it over there and just said goodbye.
Wow. And you know what? To our Ghosts of Our Past following, we have this cult following. Even if it's just our girl from YouTube who will absolutely she'll be getting a care package in the mail soon enough. But we've had to take time to process what's been happening, because it wasn't a thing where we were like, oh, we're going to do this, once a week. And we never set out in that way to do that. It was really a conversation to have with each other. We just happened to do it every Saturday or release one every Saturday.
Exactly.
But because it's gotten so real for us, this isn't just something that we want to do and talk about things that, that could have been happening. No, these were happening. And we've had to take, especially with the episode with Mum, it takes time to process that and then really have to put these pieces of a puzzle together, where speaking to Matt today is going to be a key component in something that not only he suppressed, but we did. Mum did, his mum did. And this is 40 years ago for you guys. 40. That's my entire life, your entire life, dang me. As far as our recollection and being coherent.
Events. Yeah, exactly.
To have events, right? To go, oh, I remember the time when. That's our whole life. So to be able to revisit that now and kind of bring stuff up, it's going to take time to wean people into that element of our story, because they are key components and they also have their own
baggage as well. Matt remembers, he just told just prior to this conversation, before we bring him in, he remembers the Hulk incident to a T. He remembers, he remembers the planning. He remembers what he put it in. He explained in detail how he was going to set it on fire, why he set it on fire. And he remembered it wasn't the day I hated that Hulk. He knew every time I came over, I was afraid of it. And just for me, he set it on fire. Like, that's like, if that's not a friend for life, or like, what is?
It's such a beautiful moment.
I nearly died.
But you nearly killed everybody.
Yeah.
But it was out of love. But did you die?
No.
Or did you die? Not that day.
I am here. I said to him, imagine people wouldn't have seen all of this. I was like, the world would have missed out. You probably you wouldn't even have been an artist, Marsh. You know it.
I know. No one would have pushed me.
Slide. It's not gonna happen.
No one pushed me to my limits like you and Matt. So you're right. It was an event, and it went the way it was supposed to. And
all right. Nevertheless, then let's get him in. Let's get him in.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Can
you hear us? You good?
What's happening, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Look at you, just a grown man. This is so weird to see my kids as grown men. I feel like you were my kids at one point.
And you still look the same, so.
I'll take it. I'll take it later. Oh, man. Where do we start? Matt, I'll start with you guys being 3 years younger than me, put a dynamic on what our long-term friendship would be in stages. So being 3 years old and 6 years old is one thing, but being 13 and 16 is a whole other thing. Do you know what I'm saying? So knowing you and Marv's relationship and having been around you guys for those years, I can say wholeheartedly, you lot used to get on my nerves. It was a dynamic that I never had because we never had a little brother. Like, it was always me and Marv. So once you came in the picture, you were immediately family, and I took you on board as that. So I feel like I treated you or was annoyed by it in a way that you would a sibling, not as a friend or someone that we could dispose. I said, no, this little kid's going to be around for the rest of my life. This is killing me. So outside of all of the, which we'll get into, the paranormal activity that we've all kind of just let aside a little bit, just kind of brushed it off like, oh yeah, that happened, but we kind of left it alone. My reality was when you grew older a little bit, I want to say about 15, might have been 13 and 15, the dynamic, or 15 and 16. You got a snake.
That's correct, yeah.
And I remember you telling me this, and I remember you saying, yeah, it's in the house, and you've got this like little tank that it stays in. And I don't know how I overheard that this snake went missing and it was no longer in the tank and it's somewhere in the house, just lost. And the nightmares for me that came with that is, I'm never going to your house again. And I feel like he wouldn't have done this on purpose. This wasn't a target on Marsha, but I took it like that. I said, you know what? He just doesn't bang with me, because the way I don't mess with snakes, I feel like he just got a snake on purpose, and I'm never going over there again. Matt is just never going to see me in his house again. Sandra, I'll just never have to talk to you again because I'm not coming over there, because all I can see is the snake under the couch.
There might have been a little part of one of the reasons why I got a snake is to, you know, keep you away. you know, a little get back. You know, I think that we've always had that back and forth, like you said,
right?
Because we've been together for such a long time. There's always been that back and forth. So I imagine sometimes the motivation in doing things is, you know, just to get on your sister's nerves. Yeah.
It's the instigation of it all was always Widgie. Well, I don't even know where Widgie, if people are listening to this, I don't even know where Widgie started.
I know where it started.
Where did it start?
What happened was, whenever me and Matt would get heated in an argument, it would always end up sounding like this. and he just went, Widgie. And I was like, and then from that moment on, we laughed so hard. And from that day, anytime we had a spick or an argument, it turned into Widgie.
No, I can tell you exactly where it happened. It happened outside Michael Ramsey. I think Auntie Berta used to work at something that was like across the road from
the play center was there.
Right, so me and you were on the corner of there, and we had one of our very rare disagreements, and it was like getting heated, and you said that I went into this high pitch thing and said, so afterwards, like, we haven't spoken for like a couple of days, and then we speak, and you was like, yeah, and the most hilarious part is when you went, Widgie. I did not do that.
We're sticking to it. No, it is. I'm staying there. 40 years down the line.
It's been a thing. Well, the funny thing is, a few months ago, I was showing Marvin this pair of trainers that I was customizing, and I was like, look, man, I'm gonna do this. And he was like, do you know what? I think I might do the same. And I was like, all right, listen, this is what we need to do. On the inside of the tongue, you can have embroidered, and on one side I'm gonna have Widgie, and the other side I'm gonna have Wedgie. So the both of we got that. Yeah. So the both of us now have a custom pair of Kyrie's. So they're the Air Widgie Wodgies, man.
Yeah, no one's got.
So even it started like what about 30 years ago.
So when I hit you on Instagram the other day and I was like, oh, it's going down, Widgie Wodgie. I did not know any of this. I hadn't said Widgie Wodgie in at least 15 years out my mouth, and you lot have got the custom trainers this year. That's crazy. That's insane. That crazy. Is insane. That's
anytime I put the shoe on, I laugh.
Yeah, it's insane. I play ball in them, and it's like, yeah, I'm putting it.
It's like,
wow. And you know, that is so beautiful and just so rare that we've got friendships that have gone that far and that long and known each other. Not only known each other, but our parents knowing each other. Yeah. And I think the things that transpired from us talking to our mum is how much she confided in your mum.
Your mum.
Yeah,
we didn't take that into account, you know, because we were just the kids.
Yeah.
So us being the kids, it's like, who was mum talking to? Because we weren't even really talking to each other. So what were you lot doing? And then we found out. That's why I was like, Marv, we've got to talk to Matt. What does Matt know? Matt's got to know something.
What does he know? What does he know?
I guess like we've always thought about our relationship, like the three of us and our relationship and growing up and what we were doing, and never really thought about how our parents interacted. Like I always just thought it was a thing where, you know, my mum dropped me off at your house or your mum dropped Marv off at our house, and that weren't it. But when I think about it, I remember like house parties that my parents would have or your parents would have, and our parents being at those house parties as well. So they had their own life that we were completely unaware about. But it's only now that we're having these conversations that things are coming out. Because when my mum was telling me about the conversation that she had with you guys, and then her introducing your mum to the spiritualist, like the spiritualist lived on my road. I know the guy. He had kids. He was a strange guy, and I didn't even know that he introduced your mum to him and stuff. So yeah, it's crazy. All these things are coming out years later.
But we don't realize as kids that adults have a life outside of our life.
Oh yeah, not until you're a parent or that you're grown yourself. You're like, oh yeah, just drop me off or drop your kids off. No, they were having conversations.
Real conversations.
Like what they were going through as adults. And we'd only be able to reflect on that now as mum being someone that moved from Liverpool, got to London, met you guys almost immediately, and it was, I trust you. I trust you so wholeheartedly that I'm going through this very strange thing that I've got to tell someone about. But then there's these kids that are also having these little things. I'm not sure if your mum told you, but I remember you saying something about, you said that we said there was a lady in our house.
We spoke about this earlier.
Right, but your mum, it was you that used to talk to this.
Yeah, for some reason I could have sworn I remembered that it was you and Marv, that two of you done this, like just to like put me off or throw me off my game, you know, like he was playing a prank on me. But yeah, and now it's transpired that it was come from my house, and but then like thinking about it now that you said that, like I remember my older brothers telling me that a lady that looked after me or something. So, but me, like I was saying to Marvin earlier, like I'm not the kind of person that plays around with old stuff, you know. I like to leave it there and move forward. You know, so like I was talking about, this is why when Marvin said to me, come on the podcast and talk, and I was like, no, I'm fine. It was good.
It was a hard no. It was a hard no though. It wasn't even like a bro, come on bro, Widgie. It was like, no, I'm not doing it. I was like, all right, cool. I didn't even ask again because I could tell by the tone it weren't happening.
Wow.
Yeah. And then when Marsh mentioned it, I was like, oh man, the two of you are not gonna let me live this down. So
We won't.
And the fact that I saw Mum a few weeks ago, and she was just so happy to see me. And as always, I'm always happy to see your mum, because your mum is only one of probably 5 people in my entire life that can bring me back to a child the moment I see her. Literally, when I see your mum, I turn into the picture that's going to be displayed on the right-hand side of the screen. Do you see what I mean? Like, that's literally, but she's the only person that does that. So I don't, as adults, you know, when do we get to be children again? Through our kids. But when I'm with your mum, I get to be that kid again. It's a comfortable place, man. It's beautiful. Sorry, I got a bit emotional there, but it is.
No, but I think that's the beauty about the relationship that us guys had. Like, I would never, for the amount of respect that I have for my mum, I would never call anyone else mum. But I used to always call Cookie mum, because she was another mother figure, you know, and she knows that I say it out of respect, and she knows how much I love my mum and how much of a great relationship I have with my mum as well. So, you know, and we always had that. It was like, we were literally either you was at my house or I was at your house. So, like, we lived in each other's houses. It's crazy.
Yeah. And
so the things that we've experienced, they're like some real things. Like, just before coming on here, and I was thinking about stuff. I was thinking, like, I know you said some stuff about the second house that you moved to, and I have more memories there, because the first house, I don't really remember that much. I remember the second house more.
Right.
And the second house, I remember there was a vibe about the second and the third floor, and I would never, ever go up there. So it was like ground floor, and then Marv's room was on the first floor, and I would never go any higher than, it was just a vibe. I went up there a couple of times, and I was like, this ain't for me.
Do you know what's crazy about you saying that? Like, I don't even know why. During this whole time we've doing this podcast, I've never thought to myself, did Matt ever go up to my mum? And I was like, actually,
no one really did. Everyone went from ground to first floor. Remember,
that was it.
I can remember at least 8 Brixton Top Cats in your bedroom watching Martin or watching Different World. Or I was like, how did so many of us get in there? You had like a twin bed at that point. I'm talking about Rob, Sergeant, everybody's in there.
Everyone was in there.
And I was like, we didn't go anywhere else in the house.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
And it was a big house.
3-story house.
There was no need to go to the other rooms. It was just like, we're staying down here. We are staying down here.
My room will be on that other floor.
Yeah.
And I didn't like my floor, and I didn't like Mum's room, but it was a vibe, and it got so terrifying that it was like, if I was so scared, I'd have to be so scared to get to Mum's room and just stay in that bed until
the run. Do you remember the run?
Yeah, the run. The run.
The sprint, Matt. It wasn't like quietly walking.
Yeah, you'd skip 3 steps. Like, I'm talking upstairs. The 3 steps up.
Never looking behind you.
Like, just trying to think back. There's no windows on that entire staircase, are there?
Marsha's floor, there's a window. But on mine, it's a painted window.
Yeah, I remember the painted window, but I'm just remembering like those other stairs being so dark and just.
So what it is if you go to the ground floor, it had the painting of a window on Marvin's floor. So when you're going up the stairs, there's no window to look out when you're going up a floor.
No
so the
light.
next window would be the window facing
opposite
the
side.
back garden. Yeah. So it's like the bathroom, then my bedroom. Then I don't think there's a window on the stairs. There's just a window for the bedroom.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so there's no windows on the stairs. So maybe that was another thing as well, because like past your room, it was
if the lights were off,
forget about it.
And the thought of what's weird is where the light switches were. Even if you switched on a light, you were terrified it would go out. But why would it go out? You'd be like, it will be the one time that the bulb goes out where I'm halfway up the stairs and then I have a heart attack.
I think I just had a partial heart attack thinking about that happening.
I was like. I'm terrified of that feeling. Like, what would have happened? Don't care. Don't even want to know.
I think, like, for people listening, like, it's hard to imagine, but try to imagine a staircase which is more like a ladder, because they were so. I've never been to a house that has had stairs that are that steep.
They weren't
that narrow.
Yeah, they wouldn't pass any construction codes in this day and age. Like, no.
And then you get up that first staircase, and then ahead of you, where should be a window, is a picture of a window, which is just weird within itself.
Yeah.
And then like above that, you've got like another landing, another staircase, another landing, another staircase, but it's just dark and there's no natural light.
Yeah.
Question, Matt,
just so you can kind of picture it.
Question, Matt, I need to know this. If I do muster up the courage to go knock on the door and ask, is it okay to walk in there? Will you go with me?
Do you know what? I would.
I can't believe I'm a grown man even asking a question like this, but would you go with me?
I would like to kind of like see what it's like and kind of face my fear. It would be interesting to see if there's still that feeling, like if you still get that vibe from being in that space and in that environment. And it would be, what would be even crazier is if you walked up the stairs and that painting is still there.
My, that's what I feel.
That freaks me out though, because if it was still there, I might leave, man. I'm like, nah.
But I'd want to take a picture of it just so I can remember the colors of it, because I remember it vaguely. But what if it's not there and someone's covered, even if it's just like wallpaper? And you know that scene in Haunting of Hill House where it's like, welcome home, Nell.
Yeah.
Feel back, it's like, hi Marvin, or a picture that we made true.
No.
Oh, even worse. The pictures, the painting is still there, but there's 3 kids, and you look at the faces and they're us.
And it's us.
Oh,
that's good.
That was good. That was really good, Matt. That was good. That was definitely an episode.
And real quick, Matt, since we're reflecting on that whole space, do you remember playing in that back garden behind that house?
I don't really remember playing in the back garden behind the house. I don't.
So if you think about it, we'd go all the way to Mightsfield Park to play.
Yep.
And we had an entire back garden. Like, it wasn't small. We had enough time to run around. We could have played rounders back there if we wanted to. So in the first house, the one that was in the other building, they had a garden on that side, which had way more light because it was like Sacred Heart School. And we used to climb those trees and those sheds there. But the one that was in that house that had the window painted, we'd never play in that garden.
No.
I just don't know why.
I remember there was a car park.
It was like an unspoken rule.
Yeah, there was a car park next to that. We would play in the car park, but never go around the back of the house.
Never in the garden.
Weird.
Why?
I thought it was to do with that guy's dog, though. I thought it was to do with the dogs, because people used to aggravate the dogs that lived in the other houses that were on the main road and mess with their gardens, and the guy used to come over with his dog, threatening the kids with the dogs. I remember it happened a few times, and I was petrified. And that's why I know my fear of dogs, because I'm not an animal lover, and I'm sorry, guys that are watching, I'm not an animal lover, and I've got good reasons not to be. Been bitten by a dog I knew for years, and dogs were attacking me, and they just know I don't like them, so they just all the time. So like,
you're gonna get a good dog one day.
No, and just when I want to give trust to the dog, it's when they get you.
No.
When they get you.
No, I think that part that was behind your house, I'm pretty sure, like you went down and then it was like a little green area and stuff, but it was all sunken and super dark and
very dark.
It just was not inviting. It was not the kind of place, as like being kids. And
you want to go
like watching scary movies and stuff, you'd be like that's the kind of place that the kids in the movies go, and one of them goes missing. Like, we weren't about that.
That is mad. And that's what I was trying to explain to Marv. Like, even if we were doing this as a movie and people are like, oh, why, how could you live in a haunted house? I said, no, our movie ended. We're the first people. Like, we moved out. We didn't explore. We didn't go, well, let's look for them. Let's try and take pictures. We just left it. Like, did you see that? Yep. Keep it moving.
Keep it moving.
We don't need any proof. It's there, and we don't want to seek it. I feel like it's only because of the pandemic and we've had time. I'm like, oh, what are you not doing? Oh, I remember County Grove. I remember Audrey's house. And we've had time to think about it, which has kind of brought this, not fear, but this, just this longing for answers. Like, what was that?
That whole place, even like the walkway into it, with all of the big trees, and then it was like a slope that went down. The path was like a slope.
Pretty crazy.
And the building itself has got that kind of like Gothic type vibe to it. Like just trying to paint a picture for the people that are listening.
We're going to be putting some pictures on this one.
Definitely. Yeah, if you see it was a place, and being young and your imagination running wild and stuff. Like I remember when the trees would really grow, we would hold our breath and run under the trees and run down to your door.
Yeah, like I don't want the maggots in my hair, them strings, and it would just be on the ends.
Health hazard.
It just made you feel icky.
The snails in autumn.
Snails, so the frogs randomly it's just weird. It's weird. It was like this very enchanted, dark place. Yeah. And I think every time I've gone back to London, I've either got to drive past it because the route from the airport to Beatties or Catford, we go from Oval through Camberwell to either to Peckham or go Denmark Hill way. So I always go, there's my old school, there's my old church, there's my old house. And I know it and I feel it, right, there's that, right? But everyone's like, Marsh, you always say this, you always say that. I said, but I always get this feeling. I've had reoccurring dreams about it. Every time I think about the place, I've got footage of me walking down there last year when we came back for the Jimmy's thing, and I still got that feeling. And then Marv said when he went back, he felt as small as he did when you lot were hanging out there when we first moved.
Nah, I felt like I went from 6'2" to 5 foot, like literally, like I just shrunk.
It just brings you into this. I was a kid there. Like I formulated my earliest imaginative years in that space. So all of that energy of me listening to Jodeci for the first time in that house.
And then I'm saying? The next like 10 years straight.
Yeah, like
that's what I remember you listening to in that house.
Yeah, 10 years, yeah. Once it was Jodeci, that was it.
It was a decade of Jodeci in there.
But when I think about Mum's crutch or her like way of getting through, it was music. Our house was a musical loving house. So once New Jack Swing or the Bad Boy era comes into it, or Uptown, prior to Bad Boy, Uptown and all of that, it was, I've got my R&B now. I feel safer because of this. I've got this piano where I'm formulating these ideas, and I turned all of that energy into something creative, which I feel like we all did. During that time, whether it was basketball, whether it was music, how we ended up doing music together years after that, even to this day, just that's still crazy. It's like we were never talking about that back then.
No.
Well, me and Matt we were rapping though.
First of all, we're not going to bring this up. We're just going to show the footage. We're going to show the footage and the stills that we have of those earlier years with the hats to the back, the bomber jacket.
We had swag.
Man, we
had drip back then. Like Sky seen the picture.
It was ridiculous.
And Sky's like, I would have wore everything you were wearing. I said, I know, I would wear it now. I'd wear it right. Yeah. Actually, I am wearing it right now. It's one of those.
I was gonna say, I'm still wearing.
I'm still wearing it right now.
Like what we did back then. We didn't see that we were planning our future. We didn't see it.
No,
because we were just doing it.
Yeah, we were just living it. We were living it. Yeah, it wasn't like something that was forced or contrived or like put together. Like you said, like your mum's passion for music, even your dad's passion for music. The same thing. Like my dad used to DJ. All my brothers were into music, but it wasn't something that was forced on us. It was just something that was just like a constant soundtrack in our life. It was just in the background, you know. I remember your mum walking me home from your house when I was little one time, and it was raining, and she was like, "Oh, let's try and think of all of the songs that we can think of that have rain in the lyrics and stuff."
That got me a bit emotional.
And but the thing is, it's a game that I play with my kids now. So now, like, we'll choose a word. We'll choose a word, and it was like, oh, let's think of all the songs that we can think of. And that's something that your mum just like was just to pass the time as we walked like 4 minutes from your house to my house. I remember one time
that got me different. Sorry.
That
just got me different. I didn't even know. Sorry, you didn't hit me that one.
I remember like your dad cracking up in the car one time when we was coming back from basketball, because I said to him, Paul, like why is it that guitar players and bass players always make a face when they're playing the bass? And I was like, that's the funk. That's the funk. I was like, what's the funk? He's like, I'll explain it to you when you're older.
That's what that there.
Yeah, that's it. But that's it. I just couldn't work out. Like everyone else was like, yeah, I'm playing the drums and I'm doing this, and the bass player is like, you know, and then knowing your dad was a bass player, I was like, why do you do that?
That did hit me different. You know what? That's what Ghost of Our Past is all about.
Exactly, man.
That right there.
Visiting history that you think isn't a part of the history that made you who you are today. That's exactly what it is, man. Like that. See, Matt, you've never ever told me that. Like but that's what's crazy. You've just said something that just made me go, shit, I need to call my mum. That's how I felt. I was like, shit, I need to call. I spoke to her like 2 hours ago. I'm like, I need to call her again. I need to call her again. Like just to say, I love you, mum. You are awesome.
You don't know how you impact people. You don't.
Yeah.
Because I've seen people that I've come across on Facebook, like, oh, I just saw your auntie in Camberwell. I still see her. She said hi. And I'm like, how do you still know my auntie? Like, we haven't talked in 28 years, 30 years plus. Yeah. And these are people that are still impacted by how our family have been for other people, whether that is Auntie Bertie, whether that is my mum, whether it is my dad. And it's 30 to 40 years plus of knowledge embedded. You know the faces of the funk because of my dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, songs that have the word rain in it that you'll go to your kids and say that, not even knowing that was the thing, but something that stayed with you, you know, while we're trapped in that County Grove, Natchball Road, Camberwell of the 80s that was going through a haunting that they're still going through now.
That's what's mad.
Like that energy is still there. Like I keep saying to Marv, when I went back and whoever that person was, it was only myself, Des, Nyla, Angie was with us. It was like 5 or 6 of us, and we went to County Grove. And in the distance, I can hear someone saying, Marsha. And I was like, my imagination's going crazy.
Oh, God.
I was like, stop it. And it was someone yelling from a window. Remember that? There's like, is it Baldwin Crescent? Is the next side road?
Yeah.
So it was someone in one of those houses in the attic of a window just yelling out like, yeah, Marsh, rep for Camberwell, girl, go ahead, flow a tree. So it's a random Wednesday, summer of 2019. And I'm like, how do they know I'm here? Or why would they look out the window right now to see us? And I get it looked like we were congregating, but it also could look like just people going into the flats.
Exactly.
I'm like, how would you know it's me? And it was literally the welcome home, Marsha.
We know you're here.
Right, but that's how I took it. And I kept saying to Angie and to Gus, that's what it was, Gus, and he was taking footage. So I have it on camera when that moment happened, but we weren't even supposed to be shooting that part. I was just like, Nyla, look, here's where I used to, you know, grow up, and that's where my 10th birthday was, and 2A was where my mum's house parties were, and it still had that very eerie energy. It just did and does. And I wish I could fly back to come back and be there with you lot. If you ever get to go before I come home, I wish I could be there for that initial one. I wish I really could have been.
Like, I wish that we had more footage of that time as well, of the house, because like picturing it and trying to convey it, I just don't think it really comes across, because it was like a feeling. I think the weirdest thing now is like talking to you about that road and that house. Like obviously you guys have a different connection with that house. Like my mum's road, and then there's like 3 roads that run off my mum's road. When
the roundabout to Myesfield.
Whenever I go to my mum's road, I'll take the road at the top or the road at the bottom. I never take the road that you guys used to live on. And imagine I spent most of my life there. And I can tell you, like, hand on my heart, I probably haven't been on that road, driven down that road or anything in about 20 years. About 20 years. Yeah. Why? And I've only just that's only just kind of come to me now. And I don't know why. I don't know why I avoid that road, considering we spent so much time on that road. But I like, it's not even something I do consciously.
It just does. You just do it.
Go.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I'm not gonna lie. When I did turn onto the road the other day, when I went there, and I said to Marsh, I remember when I even turned the car and turned, I kind of sunk a bit. That's what's weird. Like I was thinking, like how am I going to feel weird to drive down a road? But that road had so many stories, and there's no other place that has that many stories. Even of me running across the road, running into at the estate there, it was just like, what the hell is going on? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, this is just mad.
But conceptually, the other day I had an idea just as far as the paranormal and ghosts and energy and all of those feelings, because we ourselves living have had that amount of experiences and we left them there. The people that are there now might still be feeling our fears and everything that we went through then, as far as energy. And it doesn't necessarily have to be ghosts. It's just energy, and they're being haunted by the 5-year-old you, or the 5-year-old Marv, or the 8-year-old me. And it's all of these things that are building up to the things that we were, because everything has a catalyst. And I feel like we just haven't found what that was, because we did do the research and found out that a lot of kids died in Camberwell. A lot of people died in the war in Camberwell. Like, there's been so many deaths surrounding those things and those places, but there was a darker presence there that we haven't been able to go, well, what was that though? Because I can be scared of kid energy and, you know, playing with toys and moving stuff, but the darkness and the I don't want to go to the 3rd floor, I haven't even seen it and don't even want to find out what it is. What is that, and what is in that house that has me now as a 43-year-old woman still terrified when I dream about it, like begging my husband to wake me up. I'm talking about like shaking him to shake me out of it when I think about that space. And I'm just glad that me and Marvin aren't alone with it. Do you know what I'm saying? But the fact that you're telling us only now, I'd never know that you hadn't driven down that street.
Yeah, like we speak all the
consciously going, I'm gonna go that way or that way. I don't even have to go that way. But
and the road that runs parallel with it is a main road. So I turn off of the main road to get to my main road, and I to my mum's road, and I have to take one of those cut roads. But I always take the one that's either before or after.
So it's either before the bridge where the bus garage used to be. You can take that, and it's the Sacred Heart Church, and you're on Natural
you go
Road.
clean past it, the one before that one,
and
after.
You go, what is it? M&M's chip shop. You go The fact that I'm 43, I can still do my own GPS in my head and know that area so hard. Every shortcut is still a mad thing. I haven't been there in years to know that's. I still know that space, and it still lives within me. And I need you lot to go down there and talk to the people who live there now.
It'd be interesting to see if there's still it'd be interesting to see if it's still a musical house, like if the people in there would appreciate music and play music every day, or that'd be real interesting.
If they were
like that,
You said the guy writes poetry now.
Yeah, one of the guys that were at the top he was like, he's been writing poetry and he's written poems about all of experiences in the house. So I've got to go back there and leave a leaflet or something through the door and say, anybody that wants to talk about this, hit me up for the podcast. So I'm going to probably print those out for January and get them out of there, because it is what it is, man. Like I told Marsh, I was scared that they were going to invite me in the house. So like, and I was like, why would I? And that's when I realized it was real, because that's what I'm saying to you. Would you go with me? Because I don't know why I feel like that scared to go into it's a house. People live in there. They probably haven't been there for years, 30 years. Or like, I'm not thinking.
I can't find, Matt, you're saying about you wish we had footage or more footage of us back then. And considering that we did have a full 10th birthday on camera in the other house, we can't find a lot of pictures of us in that house. Considering that we spent so many years there, I can only see a handful of us in the house. I can see the one of you and Marvin outside with your Charlotte Hornets. Is it Ricky in the pic with the cat to the back?
Yeah.
So that's outside the front door.
Yeah.
I can't see us in this house. I think I've got a picture of your brother. I've got Nathan and Celestine on the couch. And that's only because Auntie Lillian probably took it when she was on vacation, and it's her pictures. It's not our pictures. We don't have pictures.
That's weird. That's weird, because you spent more time there than you spent
in any other house I've lived in my entire life. Like, granted, I moved to Philly, and I spent close to 10 years in there, but it was on and off. I've been on tour, I've done all of these other stuff, seen the world, but we're talking about formative years in a space and no pictures that came out decently. It was all blurry or just overexposed and lights and
wow. And you want me to go back there with you, cuz? Yeah?
hell yes. You better come back with me. You think it's a joke?
Man, I feel like this is a trap. I feel like the house is just like, yeah, I'm gonna wait until you're older. You're gonna come
I'm
back.
not doing this alone.
No. And that's why I keep referring to Horn in a Pill House, man. That thing touched me in a way where I was like, someone has read my diary. Someone really knows how it feels to be haunted on every single level and put it in a show. And I was just like, Marv, you've got to see this. And that's us as kids. We just never spoke about it when we were older. And now that we are older, we're able to articulate what that fear was. Even speaking to our mum, she was like, we keep saying, but you as an adult, so you could be. It's like, no, I was as scared as you were. I just had to be, I was forced to be the adult, but we're being scared in the same very strange way. How are you going to be scared of something you don't understand? So even if you are an adult or you're a child, it's the same fear. If I tap you on your shoulder and you go, it's the same, I'm going to jump the same way. It's not, I'm a kid or an adult. It's the same fear. So I want to face it. I want to get answers. And I keep saying to Marv, I don't think we're prepared for what those answers will be.
Yeah,
exactly. But that's why we're doing this. We've really been doing it just for us. And I feel like people who are tapping into it are going, I've got a story of my own that sounds just like this.
Just
that
like,
I want to revisit. You know what I'm saying?
I'm thinking to myself, like, were there other things in Camberwell that you were afraid of? Like, were there other things in the area?
No.
Not like our house, our school and our church, but it was all affiliated. It felt like.
Because I'm thinking that like this might be something that's a Camberwell thing, and other people have experienced things in Camberwell. But did you ever see the black woman that used to paint her hair white, her face white, wear everything white, and walk around? She used to freak me out.
We spoke about her, and apparently she passed away over the last month or so.
No way.
And the lady in white.
Lady in white.
Yeah. And it's crazy being a kid and seeing what would be an African woman dressed in all white, face painted white, and we would be walking to Mikesfield Park and she would just be on the corner, and it would be like, you'd be scared, but you wouldn't understand the fear.
Yeah.
Because it's not a ghost, it's something tangible. Just like the snake in your house, that was tangible. I could be afraid of that snake the way I was, because I could see it. The lady in the white, we could see her. Everybody could see. It was a collective fear of something unknown without knowing a backstory. So you do get older and you go, what was she going through?
Yeah.
Why was this allowed to just be out? Like, you're just walking around.
We've got context of why she was like that, because we found out and did some research, but we're not going to go into it because we're going to have a separate episode about that. But so I know why she was. Well, we not 100%.
It's speculative. It's not 100%.
But it kind of makes sense at the same time. But we lived next to Maudsley Hospital, so we were surrounded by a lot of unfortunate people that had like not just mental health issues on a smaller level. They were on they were outpatients. They were the outpatients that were going to hurt people, and we walked past them every day. Every day. So I sprinted past some of them, like literally having to run across the street.
Eerie.
And I'm just thinking to myself, damn, man, like that's more to me. That's more dangerous than me sending the kids now to go to the shop and things like that. Because I'm like, shit, I was running. These guys, some of them were killers. Like these were seriously troubled people, and we were just playing around. And at any day, it could have been us. It's one of those.
Hey, see, the good old days, eh?
Right. Exactly. Oh my gosh.
I remember when we were children. They used
Right.
to just play outside like that.
With the killers.
With the
With the killers.
With
And
the
your door was not
Let
locked.
the door open.
Let the door open.
Oh my
anybody
gosh.
walking in. Do you know what I did think about though before though, Marv? What Matt sparked something that just thinking about Camberwell, how I was scared of our house was how I was scared of the church in St. John the Divine School.
Yeah.
It was the same
Same
thing.
feeling.
So it's like, yeah, that's weird to me now.
It is the
I'm
same feeling.
thinking,
Yeah.
what was the same ghost or the same presence? It was the same feeling. So something's going on down there. That
There's an energy in that area that is
something
just
going on.
It's
yeah, man.
weird.
Well, hopefully you guys can tap into it and turn it into something that, you know, people
We're ready to believe you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People can just get it.
Oh man, but
This is crazy.
this is mad. Like, Matt, we're gonna have to get you on again, you know, bro. Like, because
Yeah.
honestly, like, 'cause
Listen,
you're-
I don't know about that.
watch that lady behind you. I'm just joking. Like, that's messed up.
See, that's what I'm saying. I don't need none of this.
Take it too far, Marv. Like, this is the witchy woody.
That was a young Marv thing to do just there. That was a young. You just
Listen.
9-year-old Marv.
I don't know if you remember this, but do you remember? I think I might have like borrowed a horror movie from my dad, and it was about people that drunk this crazy liquor.
The stuff.
Is that what it was called? The stuff. Because I remember.
As soon as Matt said it, the stuff. I know what that is.
I remember, like, I borrowed it from my dad. I tried to watch it with you guys. I was freaked out about it, and then it was all that you guys would go on about for like the next flipping months and months.
It was. Do you know what it was? It wasn't even watching it now. It wouldn't be that scary. But do you know what it was? The movie automatically started with this feeling, and I remember they were inside. Anybody YouTube this? They went inside this mall. And I remember this scene where they drink it and they start foaming out of their mouths and stuff like that, and they're being sick. And it was like a B movie, but with budget. It had more,
a B budget.
a B with bigger budget, and it was just nasty. It wasn't like The Blob. It was just nasty.
Gross.
And I remember one time watch only. It wasn't one of those I'm gonna go watch that.
Yeah,
again.
I could only remember seeing the stuff one time.
Listen, for me, it was like a 5-minute watch, and no.
Like, no,
You were done.
this. Oh
You were
my
done.
gosh. And we did. We used to sit there and look for stuff to terrify each other with.
Yeah, pretty
But
much,
that's-
man. Like you were saying in the beginning, like when me and Marvin come together, it was like we had someone to bounce off of each other to wind you up.
Yeah.
You know, there'll be times when you two would do your whole sibling thing, and I'll be like, all right, cool, I'm going home in a minute.
Yes, like,
there'll be times when I get there and I'll be like, all right, Mom,
you know what?
I'm gonna wind your sister up.
That's what it was. I hadn't had somebody that the way me and Marv understand each other is like next level. But for him and us to be so young is that I could see he could have it with somebody else. So it was a jealousy level a little bit. Like, you've got another little brother. And I just knew it wasn't anything to do with me. It's like, I need a little sister now. Somebody needs to understand me. And you had the same interactions and understanding, the talking without talking, saying it without like finishing each other's sentences. You lot had that. You lot had that when we just moved there. And I feel like I was happy for you lot. And then I was really, really sad.
Oh.
Yeah, but then we all came together at times.
No,
as well.
and it was a us, but it was definitely a wow. My brother's got like a little brother, like, and then you lot were my kids. I felt like I had to protect you lot, and I don't know why it ended up in almost blowing up a house at one point, or how we managed to climb out of your mum's kitchen window
onto the roof.
Sit on the roof.
Yeah.
During the day, mind you. Why didn't we die? then.
Yeah.
Like,
That Matt,
how did we die?
It wasn't a small fall off the roof, you know. That was like either. I think you might not have died if you landed on your head. You would have died, but you would have had your legs would have been broken.
Oh
shattered.
yeah, no, it was over with. We're talking about a 2-story house, and we was on the second floor,
shattered.
out of a upper window.
I think you guys are forgetting about that the type of apparatus that they had in the play park in Mitesfield Park.
Oh yeah,
like
I forgot they were crazy. We used to jump off the.
It was like. Yeah, like high slides that didn't have any safety stuff. There was no like rubber floor or anything.
Yeah.
It was
That's why my legs are mad.
Them swings were really tall.
Yeah,
when I think about the swings in the back, like I could be on there now and still feel like that was like at least 20 feet.
Yeah,
it was like to me.
All of that health and safety stuff when we were younger.
But that's what it comes down back to them Surrey Canal kids who built those makeshift adventure playgrounds, and that's how they were drowning and dying because of those playgrounds, and all of the hauntings would be surrounded by a lot of children. I can see that because we just happen to be the 80s kids that are a little bit more cautious, and okay, we didn't have a canal to drown in, but oh my goodness, did Marv get injured every other week? Or you broken a finger or broken a foot or gashed a hand, or we did go through a lot in that time, and you know, survived ultimately, but at the same time them kids didn't, and there was just too much energy. So we're thinking about the children's energy. Imagine the mourning of the parents of those kids and what that is. So we're talking about angry,
bereaved, like
working parents that couldn't be there for the kids in that way. The kids have died. So all of that angry energy is the adults, and that's the adults that we're talking about when we talk about our mums and what their conversations were back then. That's probably what the parents of those dead kids, what their conversations were, and that next level energy that we wouldn't understand at the time or even be able to put together in our heads. So that third floor, I don't know if I could do it. I feel like I was okay walking down the slope. To walk in, I feel like we need a spiritualist to go in there with us, or someone that can bless it.
That's a good do you know what? That's a good shout. Either contact someone and say, all right, this is the situation. Can you walk through this house with us? Because I feel like I need protection.
I feel like I wouldn't want to.
I can't even believe I'm saying this out, but it's true.
No, but to go in there and not feel protected in that way, I wouldn't want you to leave with anything.
No.
Because it's like, oh, you're back.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, we keep saying it like it's funny, but I'm talking about.
And see,
we
and this
left
is
a lot of energy.
This is why Matt was like,
a lot of energy in that house.
Out.
This is why I didn't want to do this, and this is why
welcome back, Marvin.
A part 2 featuring Matt, because no,
hello, Matthew.
To my house.
Hello, Matthew. Welcome home.
Stop it. See, Woody. Take the fear out of it. Take the fear out of it. And
I'm trying to laugh.
Lived anywhere. I'm talking about you going back to the space where you grew up. This isn't about the ghosts or the paranormal. This is the place that you left a certain amount of energy in.
Yeah.
And to go back and revisit that and go, Marv, there's where you were lying, recovering from an injury. Marsh, there's where you tore ligaments and you're watching Come Fly With Me lying right here.
That's why I want to go there. That's why I want to go there.
That's what I'm saying. You've got to take the power back in, not the negativity of it all, but just I lived here.
Yeah, this was me. This is when me and Matt played In the Sunshine on vinyl for the whole day. And we found that song. Cool. We found that song and we played it on vinyl. We had the whole vinyl collection of thousands of albums, and me and Matt played that the whole day. And we were like this.
Everybody loves
and we were sitting there like this though, like little kids though, like just.
How old were you? Like 7?
9? No, I think we were about 8 maybe 8 or 9. And we were just sitting there like this. I don't even remember leaving the room. I just remember being Matt listening to that tune for the day, just going. And we were like, I was like,
wow.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Think about that. So think about the time that is and what is going on in the rest of the world or anybody else's world, and what happens to that song years later.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's mad. It's like that. All of the music, like the music, especially like the stuff that we were listening to at the time, the stuff that our parents were playing, the stuff that my older brothers were playing, just to be exposed to all of those different,
come here, baby.
All those different kinds of music and stuff, and then especially with it being us being into a lot of like R&B and soul and funk and boogie, but at the same time, like we had Top of the Pops on the TV.
Yeah,
you know, exactly. So like listening to pop music as well, and
yeah,
it just
like we had come on Eileen,
and then going straight to Earth, Wind and Fire, then going into Guy Teddy Riley, and then back to Mr. Blobby. It's like, how do you have that contrast of it? America didn't have that contrast and variation. Hello, niece.
Yeah, she wouldn't leave me alone.
Yeah,
hey, Nyla.
Hey,
Nyla.
Hi.
Too cute. We're not. What's that on your head?
A hoodie, and she's got a hoodie on backwards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I feel like she did this for
me
you
and Matt.
too.
Crisscross.
That was another one.
That was another.
Who was it? Was it Another Bad Creation?
Yep, ABC.
Yeah.
So you lot had examples like, oh, we want to be like them kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
When Crisscross came out, me and Matt were like, that's us. We were like,
yeah. No, I tell you, we loved that. But then when I can't remember the name of the group, but Onyx had the younger guys.
Yes, I know. Yeah, I remember that. I can't remember what they're called though.
Because Onyx were really, when Onyx came out with Slam and everything, and that was just huge. Yeah. And then afterwards, they had like a little kid version of Onyx with the big heads and the big black hoodies and stuff like that. And when I saw them, I was like, yeah, because they weren't like little kids doing the routines.
No, they were hard. They were hard.
Wearing the gap. Yeah, they were just raw. And when I saw that, I was like, yeah. This is why I like this raw stuff.
I know someone's got video footage of you lot performing back.
Listen, think about it, right? Dream Warriors came to Brixton and performed at Brixton, and me and Marvin danced halftime.
You did.
That was when the Dream Warriors came. That was the same day the Dream Warriors came. There is no way that someone doesn't have footage of that.
Someone's got it.
Come on.
Someone has.
Dream Warriors, was it Aini Kamosi? Is that how you pronounce his name? Aini Kamosi?
So. I can say the whole thing. Don't you remember?
Here come the hot step.
We went to the fridge.
Yeah.
What were we doing at the fridge? We had I remember we got dressed. Dad took us. And we all went to the fridge, and there was like a dance competition or something. Someone was performing there, and we did something at the fridge. We had to be 12 or 13. I'm talking exhaust suits, like ready.
Oh wow, we were ready.
Like that Christmas, we was ready. I had the black and red one, I think, with the holes in the jeans. Oh, remember exhaust suits?
Exhaust though.
I do.
My God.
I haven't said exhaust suits since.
No, right, exactly. It's like saying 8-ball jacket.
Shell suits, exhaust suits, 8-ball jackets.
Was it cross colors?
Cross colors was my favorite though. I love.
If you didn't get your feelers,
loved cross colors, man.
You needed your feelers from each.
My thing was gravity jeans, man. The ones that had the colors on the back. Yeah.
And I gotta go to Nana's house.
Okay. Could you get Daddy to get the car together and get your shoes on, please?
Yeah.
Okay, Mommy gonna get your shoes.
They say don't work with children and animals, and this is why.
I know, this is it. Children and animals. She won't, because you keep laughing. She feels like she's out on the joke. Go to Daddy.
Star of the show. Star of the show.
Thank you, baby. Take my phone.
It's like E.T. walking back and forth with that. Hold on.
With the hoodie up.
Yeah.
Can't do.
I'll be right here.
So that part always gets me. I always cry in E.T. There's something wrong with me.
But yeah, guys, honestly, this has been an absolute pleasure. I'm just happy that it didn't get too dark. And then Matt came up with something that just made me, I was like, basically, just to let you know, my mum said to me, "Are you coming for New Year's?" and I was contemplating, should I go to Liverpool for New Year's? Is there going to be a lockdown? I was like, I don't care, I'm going to my mum's. Like that just made, that just confirmed it for me. I was like, you know, I got to see my mum. Like it was just
ask your mum if she even remembers that, because
you know
it was probably like just a spur of the moment thing. I don't even know if that's something that she's ever done again, but yeah,
she'll remember.
You know that there's significant things that really stand out from your past, and that was just that was one thing that really stood out so much that, you know, like I was like, oh yeah, that's something cool that I could do with my children as well.
But it's magic though. That's not, there's people say, do you believe, like that's real magic to me. Like that's the kind of thing where you can't write shit like that, man. You can't, like you can't write. That's just like, wow, like that's blown my mind.
That really got me, like tears in my eyes.
That blew my mind.
I can see that moment, and what makes me so emotional about it is thinking about a rainy day in London, that walk from our house to your house, and everything that was going through her head. So the fact that she found the joy in the moment to go, forget this rain, let's think about songs that have the words rain in it. Like you're singing, Can You Stand the Rain?
She didn't
listen. I can listen. Obviously, Purple Rain was one of the first one. Your mum, and I remember the song. It's a song called "Hold Me Tighter in the Rain." I can't remember who sings it. "Hold Me Tighter in the Rain." It's a dope song. And then there was Loose Ends. You Can't Stop the Rain. Yeah. I think that was like the first three that came. It's just like a vivid memory of walking down it. Yeah.
Amazing.
Crazy times, man.
Is about, and that's what this is about.
This is Ghosts of Our Past.
It's the joy in it, and that is Ghosts of Our Past.
Matt, honestly, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. We're gonna wrap it up, but honestly, man, we could just chat all night. Like, you know,
we definitely could.
Nyla wants to come and chat all day long.
yeah, exactly. But no.
Yeah, man. We've had a lifetime of stuff to talk about, and I suppose it's moments like this that brings those memories into your head and brings them to the forefront, and you know, you get an opportunity to share them, and that's something that I've never even said to you guys, so crazy.
Nah, man, we appreciate you, man. But everybody, remember,
thank you.
Subscribe to the Ghosts of Our Past UK on YouTube, as well as the podcast on Spotify, and what's the other platforms as well? Marsh, remind me.
YouTube, Anchor,
everything.
Click the link. Yeah.
And before we go, I just want to say, please don't leave in the comments you want to see a part 2, because I ain't coming back. Coming back.
How many likes do we need though?
Come back.
How many followers?
I ain't gonna do it.
Not gonna be able to do it. Oh my gosh. I swear.
Man, and if the lights flicker tonight, I swear, I'm calling one of you.
I'm gonna pick it up. I'm not here.
Too much.
This has been amazing.
This has been good. All right, guys. Well, I'll catch you guys soon. You take it easy. Goop.
All right, man.
See you later. Peace.